Bill from Philadelphia, you're on the air.
My question's for the governor. Governor, when the casino and racinos open, they will be issuing they will be using the total reward card system. This system tracks the amount of money and time patrons spend gambling. This determines the value of the comps patrons receive. Today there is a bill, House Bill 1245, sponsored by State Representative Paul Clymer, that would make the casinos and racinos who are already gathering this information to issue their patrons monthly statements. Sending monthly statements would not bar anyone from gambling, and it would enable gamblers and their family members to spot a loved one's gambling problem before it gets out of hand. So my question is, Mr. Governor, will you support House Bill 1245?
Yeah, the answer is I'd be happy to sign that if it gets to my desk. But I also think that's something that the Gaming Commission can do in its own regulations. The people who would like to see that happen should also bring it to the attention of the Gaming Commission. Let me say about the Gaming Commission, they have turned out to be terrific. They're working together extraordinarily well. There are 7 of them. They're smart. They're dedicated. They intend to make this work, and they intend to have the best control mechanisms possible and to produce the most revenue, but to do it in a way that mitigates harm to individuals. So I would certainly sign that bill if it got to my desk. I believe the legislature will be sending me some amendments to the gaming law, maybe this November or in February or March, and that may be one of them. But we should certainly also pursue that idea before.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Governor, you brought into the state of Pennsylvania an industry that has not one safeguard or provision to protect our loved ones from becoming casino gambling degenerates. Now, sitting in Mr. Gottschall's office is House Bill 1245, and I've talked to you with this once before, another time when you were on the station, about this bill would make the casino operators and racino operators mail out monthly statements when they use those comp cards, that system they use that collects the information of how long the person plays for and gambles and tells what type of comps they're going to receive. Now, why is it that this bill cannot be moved onto the floor, and especially when it's something that's going to save individuals and families? And I'd like to know if there's anything you could do to help move this bill, get it on the floor, and get a vote on it.
Okay, well, let me, if I can, answer you in 2 ways. Number one, as you know, the legislature is controlled by the Republican Party, both the Senate and the House. So I can't move a bill. I wish that I could automatically move a bill to a vote in the House. I want the minimum wage bill to be voted on, and so far it's been bottled up as well. So to get a bill to the floor for a vote, I suggest that you and the folks who feel similarly to you contact the Republican leadership in the House and Senate. They're the ones who control whether a bill can go to that floor. Sometimes if I speak in favor of getting a vote on a bill, it has the reverse effect, so I'm not sure you want me trying to move that bill. But secondly, I do want to say one other thing about not giving people any help. As you probably know, sir, over 1 million Pennsylvanians right now leave the state to gamble. New Jersey,
I know you
Delaware.
were going to say that.
No, well, let me finish, please.
Right.
They leave the state to go to other states to gamble. They gamble away $4 billion. Right now, they can't get help if they become gaming addicted. They can't get help because although New Jersey has a counseling program, it's only available to New Jersey residents. West Virginia has a counseling program. It's only available to West Virginia residents.
But Governor,
thankfully, wait, please let me finish.
Okay.
Thankfully, under our new legislation, we're setting up a counseling program that is available to Pennsylvania residents. Look, if I thought that no Pennsylvania resident would gamble if we didn't expand gaming, I probably wouldn't have done it. But I know the facts. 1 out of every 11 of us goes and gambles, and we get no upside from it. We're going to be able to reduce, if the Senate and House do their job in the next 3 weeks, we're going to be able to reduce property taxes significantly for all Pennsylvanians and wipe it out for many senior citizens because of gaming.
But Governor, you're also, remember, you're talking about after the fact. Everything that's in the gaming bill, and not just Pennsylvania, in all states, addresses the problem after the person has the addiction. There's not one safeguard or provision in this industry.
Well, again, what I'm saying,
an 800 sign "Get Help" is already the guy's got the problem. Why is it that nobody is addressing how these casinos are going to operate?
But you didn't listen to my answer. My answer is I don't have the power to move a bill to the House any more than you do. It's the leadership The leadership controls what bills. Anyone can introduce a bill, but it's the leadership in the Senate and the House that determine which bills go for a vote.
Governor, you brought casino gambling to our state with no safeguards or provisions to protect our loved ones from becoming casino gambling degenerates. The provisions that are in place, like the exclusion list, the 1-800-GAMBLER Get Help number, along with counseling and treatment for compulsive gamblers, addresses the problem after someone has the addiction. Why is it you and your administration, along with our Gaming Control Board members, refuse to address this issue? And if you think I'm wrong about these provisions, then I'm sure you could give me one safeguard or provision that addresses the problem before someone becomes a compulsive gambler.
Well, number one, it's not like Pennsylvanians didn't gamble before we passed this law. In fact, the surveys show that 1 million of us, that's 1 out of every 12 of us, left the state to gamble in other jurisdictions, New Jersey, West Virginia, Delaware. And if you became gambling addicted in those areas, you couldn't get into their treatment programs or any of their counseling programs because you weren't a resident of their state. So for that million people who are already gaming, they're much better off now because we do have programs. If there are preventative programs that aren't in the Act, if that gentleman will also write me, I'll take a look at it. We looked at other statutes throughout the country to see if there were other programs other than these treatment and counseling programs. And I thought the Act had as many as that we could find that were beneficial. But if there's somewhere missing, if that gentleman, again, takes advantage of contacting us through the PCN contact numbers, I'll be happy to take a look at it, and we can always amend the Act.
Gaming bill. Governor, your gaming bill lets our casinos operate with no safeguards or provisions that will stop the casino operators from breeding compulsive gamblers. Now, your bill does address the compulsive gambling problem with things like a 1-800-GAMBLER Get Help number, a 24-hour-a-day hotline for counseling, and a self-exclusion list. But these provisions address the obsessive gambling problem after one has the problem. Today, there are 2 bills, one in our House of Representatives, House Bill 783, and one in our Senate, Senate Bill 423. These bills will make the casino operators who are already tracking their patrons' money and time spent gambling with comp cards to send monthly statements. This would enable gamblers and their family members to spot a loved one's gambling problem before it gets out of hand. So my question to you, Governor, do you support this legislation?
Well, let me start out by saying it's the first I've heard of it. I would certainly take a look at the bills, and I think the goals of the bills are laudable, but often laudable goals doesn't translate into good legislation. So I'd have to look at the bills, but I think those sound like they're fair and reasonable, so I'd